Hi, hoteliers. Welcome back to another M3 Minutes podcast. My name is Veronica Berman, and I'm part of the marketing team here at M3 in Georgia. So we welcome you back, and today we have a really special guest with us today. And I'll let him introduce himself.
Thank you. I'm Brendan McCoy, Vice President, Director of Operations with Newport Hospitality Group. Thank you for having me today.
Brendan, thank you so much for joining us on the M3 podcast today. We're thrilled to have you in our office.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Perfect. Brendan, can you tell me a little bit more about Newport Hospitality Group and what your role is there?
Perfect. Newport Hospitality Group is a third-party management company where we manage 40 hotels currently. Out of those 40, 7 of them are owned by Newport Hospitality Group. My role within the company is, well, my title is Vice President, Director of Operations. So I'm responsible for managing all 40 with a team of 4 other VPOs that I oversee and supervise.
Wow. And how long have you been with the group?
I have been with Newport for 12 and a half years. So April of 24 will be my 13-year anniversary.
Wow. Wow.
Yep.
And can you tell me a little bit more about the group? Are these, boutiques, select service? What type of hospitality group does Newport consist of?
So 95% are going to be select service. And then we have 2 full serve hotels. So we have 15 Marriott properties and 13 Hilton properties, a few IHG properties, and then Choice and Wyndham as well.
Gotcha. Now, how many years has Newport Hospitality Group been in business themselves?
This year would be 32, and at the beginning of next year will be 33 years. We'll celebrate our 33rd anniversary.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. So where are all the properties located?
So most of our hotels are all on the East Coast, starting from New York City all the way to Orlando. And then furthest west is going to be a hotel in Jackson, Tennessee, but mainly on the Atlantic seaboard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. So let's get over a little bit more when we're talking about kind of the workings within Newport Hospitality Group. So can you tell me what M3 products do we plan on using?
So all 3. So accounting core, insight, and labor management.
Okay. Do you have a preference of anyone?
I'm most excited about insight just because currently our BI platform is not very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really one of the main reasons why we're looking to use M3. Yep.
Cool. Okay. So, Brendan, my big question is for you. It's a new year, ready to take on new things. So, what prompted the search for a new accounting solution for your group?
So the main reason would be the desire for more robust reporting, um, and then ultimately the ability to integrate with some of our other vendors, whether that be payroll provider, um, and even payroll management. Um, those were 2 of the main reasons, but also looking for a vendor that doesn't farm out or whitelist other software that they use. I think that was, I'm kind of answering a different question, but that's really after, going through the process of looking at other solutions to accounting and to BI and to labor management. That was really attractive for M3 is because it's all done in house, and you have your own development team, and there's one person that you go to if you're having challenges. So that was a big seller for us.
That's true. We do pride ourselves on being local and in-house. When you call and you get customer support, you're actually talking to a human that's located here in Georgia. And now that you've done the office tour, you can see where some of those wonderful humans work every day.
Absolutely.
So wonderful. And it's keeping it here in this beautiful state of Georgia. So again, we appreciate that. So when we're talking about working as a team, and we always want to be responsive to our teams and to support someone even that's not within our direct team. So one of my questions for you is, what are the biggest challenges that your operations team is facing today?
Well, staffing was probably the biggest challenge. Um, and that's improved in 2023. But there's still some markets that the labor pool, um, whether it's quality of team members that are applying or even quantity, have not improved. And unfortunately, having to use contract labor at some of those hotels. But it's a necessary evil to make sure we sell rooms and keep inventory open. So, but again, that's I don't want to give a percentage, but it's gotten much better in 2023, and we expect it to incrementally improve in 2024. So that's the biggest challenge operationally.
Okay. So you just spoke to us about operations. So I'm going to ask you to switch hats and put your accounting hat on. So can you tell me some of the challenges that that team is facing?
I think internally with our accounting team, we just switched accounting systems about 2 years ago, and now we're doing it again. So that's quite a challenge for them. But I think really our accounting team's biggest challenge is making sure that they receive all the end of month or items that a GM is supposed to send in to complete their task, or just their task throughout the month. Um, it's something that I'm responsible for as the leader of operations of our company, but it's the GMs are being pulled into many different directions as we discussed with the staffing, which is the root challenge. Their attention to the administrative duties can be not where it needs to be to make sure the accounting team has what they need to get the end of month closed, do their bank recs or whatever it may be, to close the month. So I would say that that's their biggest challenge is just leadership at the property being responsive and meeting deadlines. I can tell you it's been a huge focus for us, and I think we've improved dramatically this year, but there's still some work to do. And again, it goes hand in hand with the staffing levels and the quality of staff that we have on our properties.
So to your point, a lot of times those GMs, they are running around like octopuses, they're trying to get their hands everywhere and at everything because they have so many different layers and levels of staff from front desk to housekeeping to maintenance. So, you know, I can understand where they definitely need that extra assistance, and to save time.
Correct. I think there's definitely going to be some efficiencies by switching to M3 for our GMs, especially the amount of time that it takes to do their administrative portion of their job. So that's another reason why we chose to use M3. And then not only that, there's multiple steps that we'd like to take after this. With making sure that the invoicing process is as streamlined as it can be to again give time back to the GMs to make sure that they're taking care of our teams and taking care of our guests.
So going back to our first part of this journey of the question and how you landed in our office here in Georgia, how did you first learn about M3?
Just over the years, I've had many colleagues and folks that I've worked with in the past that now work for other organizations. They've used it and have always talked very highly about M3 and the efficiencies and the ability to use the software to drive better results, or whether that's just running a well-oiled machine when it comes to hotels or driving better profits on the bottom line.
Gotcha. Okay. So we know we have a great reputation out there. So we're pretty excited to continue that legacy and really bring that for companies like you. So um so you must have also seen the value in coupling accounting core with M3 Site and M3 labor management. What was it that sold you on the full M3 platform?
So it really goes back to what I discussed with the challenges that we currently have.
Hmm.
You know, the whole system is under one roof, right? So, and ultimately, we have, as a company, in the past, have had to kind of ad hoc or, as I say, Frankenstein reports together to come up with a true live P&L. And if I want to look back at one selling point or one main point that really made our decision pretty easy is the fact that we can have a live P&L through the month, right? You can look at 7 days in or 20 days in, and as long as the GMs have put in all their invoices and done what they're supposed to do, you have the labor feed, you have your expense feed, and it it's going to give you a pretty good picture of how the month's gonna the month's gonna finish. So I think that's probably the biggest sticking point or biggest selling point for Newport is being able to have that, and it takes resources and time, or it not takes, it actually gives resources and time back to our team to focus on other things in our corporate office.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. So it sounds like the biggest deciding factor, when choosing M3 was being able to keep it in house and on one platform.
Right, and insight. It's a big selling point for us.
Absolutely. So now let's talk a little bit more about ROI and business impact. And, for me, very curious, what are the main operational and financial goals that you think that M3 will help you achieve?
Well, I believe it's going to drive better bottom bottom line. Um, Myself and the rest of our vice presidents of operations within our organization will be able to have real time information to either address or be able to shift gears through a particular month based off of being able to see, you know, middle of the month exactly how many expenses or how much expenses have been used for a particular line, and be able to have strategic conversations with that GM on what they can and what they can't spend moving forward. Of course, we don't want our hotels to go without anything, but at the end of the day, it's going to be able to allow our regionals above above property to be able to have more um, strategic conversations with those GMs to make sure that we do the best we can to deliver the best bottom line by the end of the month.
Got it. That absolutely. I mean, who doesn't want that, right?
Right.
So now, from an operational perspective, how do you think the change to M3 will impact your property level team?
Well, it's going to give them um, better tools and resources to ultimately drive as much top line to the bottom line for one. Two, I think it's going to also save them some time and streamline some processes that they don't have the luxury of today with our current solution. So those are the two biggest drivers: better profitability and time given back to the GMs to take care of their team and take care of the guests and um, drive better satisfaction with surveys.
Absolutely. And so that's the 2024 and beyond vision.
Correct.
There you go.
Absolutely.
There you go. Speaking of 2024, what are Newport's long term growth plans?
It's a great question. We definitely envision growing next year. Um, I can tell you from a planning standpoint, we look to grow anywhere from 4 to 5 hotels in 2024, based off of what I know now. But really, as a as an organization, we believe the sweet spot for us would be between 60 and 65 hotels. We're at 40 now. Um, you know, there's some challenges right now with growing just because of the amount of deals that aren't being done right now because of debt being more expensive than usual, which clearly affects the potential of growing. So our vice president of development is always working with our current owners on modeling deals, and of course meeting with potential clients and new owners. But at the end of the day, we want to grow and get to that 60 to 65 number. I think it because of the challenges that are presented with just real estate in general, especially in hospitality. That's probably more of a 5 to 10 year goal. And if we get there sooner, then great. But I think what's more important is making sure that we grow with the right owners.
For me, it sounds like, you're stating that you just want to make sure that you're growing um, not at a rapid pace, but
Right.
growing with what aligns to your company's, values and culture at an easy pace.
Correct. Correct. I think that's really important, that the owners that Newport works for is that those things align. Because if not, it's really difficult to have. It needs to be a collaboration, right?
Right.
We obviously want the best for the owner, the best possible outcome, and if we're aligned on those things, there's typically better outcomes.
Okay. Perfect. That makes sense. That makes sense. So, are there any upcoming developments or features from M3 that you're really excited about?
I can tell you that Newport as an organization is just excited to have uh, a robust BI platform to be able to drill down and provide better results for owners.
All right. So, Brendan, you've been great to be here today, and I don't want to take up too much more of your time. So, I am curious, though, um, how do you envision M3 continuing to support the goals and the growth of the Newport Hospitality Group?
So when I started talking with Matt Hughes about Newport, joining M3 for accounting and insight and labor management, I told him out the gate, I wanted this to be a long term relationship, not a short term. It's not a short term solution for us. We've had some challenges over the last 5 or 6 years, making sure we're aligned with the right vendor for our needs, and so I just expect that relationship to continue to blossom, and there to be, um, you know, transparent conversation surrounding any challenges that M3 has with our properties, and whether it's the onboarding or, and then of course with M3 is just being open to our feedback. And it seems from what I've seen around the corporate office today here in Georgia, as it seems very collaborative, and you know that's it's who we want to be aligned with, when it comes to, um, the accounting solution for Newport Hospitality Group.
Yes, I couldn't agree with you more, and I work here.
Perfect.
Well, thank you again so much for joining us today, Brendan. We really appreciate your time and for making the trip down south, and definitely wish you and your family a happy holiday season.
Same to you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in to this M3 Minutes podcast episode. Again, I'm your hostess, Veronica Berman, part of our wonderful marketing team located here in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. So if you like this episode, don't forget to go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe below.